Jeff Davis, President of Lordship Investments and Director of New Way Community, coming to you today with 5 minutes to live by. In this program, we look at a variety of different topics. We're going to look at business, insurance, marriage, Christianity, finance, sales, etc. Today, we're going to be coming out of a book that I wrote called Success, A Journey to Your Final Destination. Wrote this book for people who are looking to increase the likelihood of finding and experiencing success. Success is a journey to your final destination. And today we're going to be talking about failure is not final. Everybody fails. No matter what you do, no matter how much you try to not fail, the likelihood of you failing is pretty good. Why? Because none of us are able to hit it 100% of the time. None of us are able to perform at our peak capacity 100% of the time. So when we know that we're going to fall short, then we also should know that we may fail. Sometimes we fail because we are trying something that really isn't in us. We don't have the capacity to be able to pull it off. Sometimes we fail because we're trying to keep up with someone else who has an advantage over us in that situation. It's kind of like when you run track. To think that you're going to always be the top person running track is not a good thought, because even the best of us, the best people who run track, have lost before. And losing is just a part of winning. There is no real winning if you don't lose. If it's guaranteed success 100% of the time, then the game isn't even worth playing. And so we have to understand, have to embrace the fact that failure is going to happen anytime you attempt something. And the more you try, the greater the likelihood you'll fail. It's been said that Thomas Edison tried over 1,000 different ways to create the light bulb, and he kept failing time and time again. But he kept saying to himself and to others, I'm one step closer to finding what I'm looking for because I've just learned another way to not do it. We give credit to Alexander Graham Bell for creating the telephone. But history tells us that he really wasn't the creator, that someone else created the whole concept, and yet it wasn't working, kept failing. And Bell took his ideas, his invention, as it were, and he just tweaked it. He made some adjustments, and suddenly it worked. Now, he got the credit for it because he made it work. But it never would have worked if the other gentleman who was working on it had never failed. No matter what we try to do in life, no matter how much we prepare, no matter how much we visualize, no matter how much we try to get ready to do it, failure follows. Why? Because failure is a part of success. There will be no lasting success without failure. And so we have to position ourselves to find the way to succeed. Now, failure is not final, meaning it's not the end. It's not the last chapter in the book. It's not the last word that is written. It's not the last verse of the song that is sung. We don't end our life saying we tried hard, we lived, we failed, we died. No. We have to continue to strive for what we believe we're supposed to have. We have to continue to try to become what we see ourselves being. Taking this out the book. Learning to fail automatically. Learning to fail successfully. Learning to fail, period, is something we all have to do. We have to learn how to fail successfully. And there's a difference between an unsuccessful failure and a successful failure. If you try something and you give it the best you've got and you don't succeed for whatever the reason, then you can learn from your mistakes, you can tweak the process, and you can move forward. If the plan doesn't work, if you're trying to reach something, you've got a goal and your plan for whatever reason doesn't work, then you change the plan. You adjust the plan. You do what you have to the plan, but you don't get rid of the goal. Because if the goal is right, then you just have to find the right way to get there. If you're traveling someplace and you've never been there before and you get lost, you don't throw the trip away because you got lost and you just turn around and go back home. No, you find out how to get there and you make adjustments. When I travel, I like to know exactly where I'm going. I like to know how to get from point A to B to C until I reach my destination. I'm not the type of person that wants to just get out there and try to figure it out. I will stop in a minute and ask for some help. I will look for someone, and someone, maybe there's someone standing around and just ask them, hey, excuse me, do you know where such and such is? Why? Because I know that if I'm on the right track and if my goal is to get there, then all I have to do is find the way to do it. So when you are failing, if you learn how to fail successfully, meaning if you learn how to learn from the mistake, learn how to learn from what was wrong, you can correct it and make it right. I submit unto you that most of the inventions that you and I enjoy today, we enjoy them because the inventor failed but did not stop until eventually they found the answer. Failure is not final. The only time failure can destroy you is when you refuse to learn from it. If you keep going in a direction that is not right and you refuse to make adjustments and changes, then failure is inevitable. And you're going to fail over and over again. Why? Because you're not learning from your mistakes. And sadly, some people just can't seem to learn from what does not work. But we all have to. We have to learn how to overcome so that we can become the overcomer. Whenever we fail, there's a feeling of disappointment. We feel like we have missed the mark. We have fallen short. A lot of times it's hard to feel okay about yourself if you keep losing. But we learn from our failures. We learn how to overcome. Sometimes people rehearse the failure in their mind so much, the experience they've gone through, the negativity so many times that they don't realize that there is success. Now, I know people that have been married and it was a disaster. Things went incredibly wrong. And it kind of poisons your mind because you're like, man, I went this way and it just didn't work, so forget it. I'm never going to do it again. But when I've had friends like that, or people that I've met who have thought that way, I know that I can tell them I understand the why because of what you've been through, no question. But when you're trying to find something, you ask yourself, why do you want to be married? And there's some things that you are looking for that you're hoping you'll find in a relationship with someone else. You have to ask yourself the question, how can there be people who are in this world who are happily married, and yet I am not? What do they have? What are they doing? And sometimes we want to say, well, it's the person. They met the right person. And, there's some truth in that. But the reality is, if you look at what is actually going on in the relationship, you find that the successfully married do something that the unsuccessfully married don't do. When you look at business, over 80% of the businesses that start fail within the first few years. Why? Because those businesses are trying things that are not working. But does that mean that it does not work? No. It means that what they're doing does not work. And so smart business owners make adjustments. They make changes. Now, we're living in a technological age where everything is just moving fast. And if you have a business and you're trying to get to the next level, you have to adjust with the times. You have to embrace the technology that is before us. Some of us remember what it was like when we didn't have the internet and all these computers and all this help. And so we did so many things manually. But those days are done. If you want to build successfully today, you have to embrace the things that make people successful right now. And the same thing applies in life. If you want to be successful, if your goal is to be successful, failure will not keep you from success. A refusal to change will keep you from being successful. Successful people adapt, adjust, change. Success, a journey to your final destination. You can pick this book pick it up at our website, www.nwcom.org. Again, that's www.nwcom.org. Or you can go to Amazon, look for books by Dr. Jeff Davis. Jeff Davis. This is Dr. Jeff Davis wishing you again a day filled with success and happiness.